Good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and let us start the news bulletin with the headlines. Monsoon rails derail rife in many parts of Maharashtra. 22 killed in 3 wall collapse incidents. 54 flights diverted, trains affected. Government declares public holiday as heavy to extremely heavy rains are expected over the next 2 days. Parliament approves bill to provide reservation to residents living near the international border in Jammu and Kashmir. Also passes resolution extending President's rule in the state for 6 more months. Prime Minister Modi thanks the parties for the passage of the bills. Rajya Sabha to take up Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2019 today. Lok Sabha to discuss the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2019 and the Dentists Amendment Bill 2019. Countries should ensure speedy extradition of economic offenders, asserts Vice President Naidu. At the 70th Annual Day celebration of Chartered Accountants, calls upon all nations to join hands for automatic exchange of information on black money. London court to hear crucial plea on Vijay Mallya's extradition. And in cricket, India takes on Bangladesh at Edgbaston today. Victory will confirm India a spot in the last 4. Sri Lanka wins match against West Indies. First up, news from Maharashtra as the seasonal monsoons made a striking entry into the state of Maharashtra. It also handed out its share of woes for the citizens. Now, work life in the sprawling metropolis of Mumbai took a hit following the incessant rains since the last 2 days. Road and railway traffic remained jammed with water choking the tracks. About 22 people have died in 3 separate incidents of wall collapse in Maharashtra. In East Malad, a wall collapsed on residents due to heavy rains, killing 13 people. In Kalyan, a portion of a compound wall of a school broke down, killing 3 people, while 1 has been admitted to the hospital. And in Pune, again a portion of a compound wall of a college fell down on an adjoining labour camp, killing 6 people here. Relief and rescue operation is currently underway. And in Mumbai, 54 flights have been diverted. The Western Express Highway, which leads to Mumbai Airport, was flooded after continuous rain in the city, making it extremely difficult for people running to catch their flights to reach the airport on time. Meanwhile, rail services have also been affected by the rain. The Maharashtra government has declared a public holiday today in Mumbai as a precautionary measure following the incessant rains. The Met Department has predicted heavy to extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places over Konkan, Goa, Madhya Maharashtra, Marathwada and Vidarbha in the next 2 days. And now news on budget session of Parliament and the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2019 is listed in today's agenda of the Rajya Sabha. Now, this bill was passed by the Lok Sabha on Thursday. The bill amends the Homeopathy Central Council Act 1973 and it seeks to extend the period for the reconstitution of the Central Council from an existing period of 1 year to 2 years. Ayush Minister Shripad Yesso Naik will move the bill for consideration and passing. And the Upper House on Monday passed the Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Amendment Bill 2019, 2 days after it was cleared by the Lok Sabha. Now, this bill replaces the ordinance that was issued in March and it provides for amendments in the Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Act 2004. And with this bill, people living along the international border in Jammu and Kashmir will get benefits of reservation, indirect recruitment, promotion and admission in professional courses on par with those living along the actual line of control. The reservation will benefit about 3.5 lakh people living in 435 villages of the 3 districts of Kathua, Samba and Jammu. And the statutory resolution on extending the President's rule by another 6 months with effect from 3rd of July 2019 was also approved by the House yesterday. The resolution was earlier passed by the Lok Sabha last week.
क्या वजह है कि इन्हीं 5 सालों में सबसे ज्यादा हमारी फौजी मारे गए? क्या वजह है कि सबसे ज्यादा सिविलियन इसी वक्त में मारे गए? क्या वजह है कि हमारे आर्मी, मेरे लिखे हैं, मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहूंगा, 16 आर्मी सीआरपी के जो इंस्टॉलेशन वो उड़ी से लेकर नगरोटा से लेकर जितने बड़े बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट जगह हैं उन पे हमले हुए और लोग हमारे फौजी मारे गए। सिर्फ हमले नहीं हुए, मारेंगे भी। अगर ये जीरो टॉलरेंस है तो ये 16 हमले कहां से आए, क्यों हुए और हमारे फौजी क्यों इनमें मारे गए?
हमारी सरकार सुरक्षा के लिए कटिबद्ध सरकार है। मैंने पहले ही कहा कि आतंकवाद के लिए जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति लेकर हम चलते हैं। हमने आज तक सबसे ज्यादा सीआरपीएफ की कंपनियां भी वहां पहुंचाई है और सीआरपीएफ की जम्मू कश्मीर में जो कंपनियां हैं उनको आधुनिक साधनों से लैस करने का भी प्रयास किया है। जमायते इस्लामी, इसको भी संरक्षण प्राप्त था, राजनीतिक संरक्षण, दल का नाम देना नहीं था, परंतु राजनीतिक संरक्षण प्राप्त है कहने में मुझे कोई हिचकिचाहट नहीं है, मगर उस पर भी हमने प्रतिबंध लगाया है।
And after the resolution on Jammu and Kashmir Reservation Amendment Bill 2019 was passed, Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked all the parties for their support. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister Modi thanked the legislators in both houses of parliament for the passage of the 2 bills pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir, saying that such bipartisan support is gladdening. He added that the bills ensure justice for those living in the border areas of Kathua, Samba and Jammu districts. And Kriti Mishra is now joining us live from Vijay Chowk. Very good morning, Kriti. So Prime Minister Modi there thanking lawmakers in both houses for passing 2 legislations on Jammu and Kashmir, and also complimenting Home Minister Amit Shah for delivering those speeches that he said were both comprehensive and insightful. And today the Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill 2019 is listed in today's agenda that aims to make this council more effective, more efficient. Tell us more about the bill.
Well, Aishwarya, in today's agenda in the Rajya Sabha, there's a Homeopathy Central Council Amendment Bill. Remember, this bill seeks to extend the reconstitution of the Central Council of Homeopathy. This bill has already been passed by the Lok Sabha, and during the passage of this bill, Ayush Minister Shripad Yeso Naik said that this bill seeks to make the council more effective. So certainly this is an important bill that would come up in the Rajya Sabha as well today, because this bill seeks to replace the ordinance that was promulgated by the government earlier. And also in the pre-lunch session, Aishwarya, we are witnessing fairly productive sessions. Several zero-hour submissions are taken up. Even special mentions are taken up. Even during the question hour, several questions are taken up. In the days ahead also, there are important items on the agenda of the Rajya Sabha. For instance, tomorrow there's a short duration discussion on electoral reforms. This particular notice has been moved by Derek O'Brien and has been accepted by Chairman. Thereafter, we'll also have a calling attention motion on drug abuse in the country. So certainly important items in the agenda of the Rajya Sabha. Over to you, Aishwarya.
Right, Kriti, stay with us. We'll just come back to you because also we need to talk about Lok Sabha, where 2 bills are listed in today's legislative business in the lower house. Now, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Ashwini Kumar Chaubey, will move for consideration and passing the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2019 to amend the Indian Medical Council Act 1956. Now, this bill is aimed at bringing in transparency and accountability as well as quality in the governance of medical education in the country. It also aims to provide for the supersession of the Medical Council of India for a period of 2 years from August 2018. And the Dentist Amendment Bill 2019 is also listed in today's agenda for consideration and passing. Now, this bill amends the Dentists Act 1948, and the amendment will help restructure the dental councils And the representation of the central government members as well as elected members would no longer be made mandatory now in the dental councils. Both the bills were introduced in Lok Sabha last week. And the House yesterday passed the Central Educational Institutions Reservation in Teachers Cadre Bill 2019. Now, this bill aims to fill up more than 7,000 existing vacancies in 41 central universities by direct recruitment in accordance with the new quota system. The bill makes university or college as a unit instead of department for the purpose of providing reservation for filling teachers' posts in central education institutions. It also provides for 10% reservation for economically weaker sections, and this bill replaces an ordinance that was issued in March this year.
जनजाति और सामाजिक और शैक्षणिक रूप से पिछड़े वर्गों एवं आर्थिक रूप से कमजोर वर्गों से संबंधित व्यक्तियों की सीधी भर्ती द्वारा नियुक्तियों में पदों के आरक्षण को प्रदान करने के लिए श्रीमती, और तीसरा कि ये विधेयक केंद्रीय सरकार द्वारा स्थापित अनुरक्षित और सहायता प्राप्त केंद्रीय शैक्षणिक संस्थाओं में शिक्षकों के कैडर में भर्ती द्वारा नियुक्तियों के आरक्षण प्रदान करने से संबंधित यदि देखा जाए श्रीमान, तो एक के बाद एक ये विधेयक ये साबित करता है कि यदि अंतिम छोर पर बैठे रहने वाले व्यक्ति की कोई चिंता करता है तो नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार करती है, यह इसको साबित करता है।
Let's go back to Kriti, who's joining us live from Vijay Chowk. Kriti, so today 2 bills are listed in the legislative business in Lok Sabha, both intended to ensure transparency, accountability and quality in medical education in our country. Of course, one to make a Medical Council of India and other to make Dental Council of India more effective. Tell us more about these bills.
Well, the Dentist Amendment Bill seeks to reduce the redundancy in the councils and make the councils, the dentist councils in the country, more effective. And there's also a very important bill, which is the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill. Remember, this bill has been the focus of the government for quite some time now, and it seeks to bring quality and also transparency in the medical education, and also seeks to supersede MCI with Board of Governors. Now, these Board of Governors would consist eminent doctors in the country, making the entire medical education more transparent. So important bills in the agenda of the Lok Sabha as well. Aishwarya?
All right. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates there from Parliament. Thanks. And now let's get to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the first BJP Parliamentary Party meet today after it won 303 Lok Sabha seats. Prime Minister Modi has not been able to interact with the elected BJP MPs, a large number of them being the first-timers. Now, this meeting, which will be held in Parliament, provides MPs opportunity to come face-to-face with their top leaders, including the Prime Minister as well as the party president. And according to sources, PM Modi would be felicitated at this meeting. Prime Minister Modi would also be attending the event after his return home from the G20 meet at Osaka in Japan. All right, let's get all the updates. Panchanan Mishra is now joining us for more on this story. Panchanan, good morning. So the first meeting of the BJP Parliamentary Party under Modi 2 slated to take place today. Of course, this meeting was earlier scheduled to take place last Tuesday, but it was, of course, cancelled. So what are the issues that are likely to be on top of the agenda today?
Actually, basically, it's a regular meeting. It's held in every week during the parliament session where the MPs from both the houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, are there. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who heads this meeting, and also Party President Amit Shah, who is also now Rajya Sabha MP, and he's a Home Minister. So he will be there. And the issues raised in Parliament for the BJP, which is being discussed here, and the crucial bills like Triple Talaq Bill, what should be the strategy of the party, because in 16th Lok Sabha, this bill was not passed and there was not number in Rajya Sabha. So government also tries to maintain that how the crucial bills may be passed. So all the strategies will be discussed in this first meeting of this first session of this 17th Lok Sabha. So, and various other issues like the presence of MPs in Parliament, which is also a crucial issue. Prime Minister always focused on this issue and also always stressed that there should be a proper attendance in the Parliament. So all the issues related to Parliament strategies are discussed here in this meeting. It's a regular meeting. It's held in every week.
All right, so important issues related to Parliament, key bills, and of course, another top of the agenda of the meeting will be, of course, Union budget, which is going to be presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Friday. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those updates there from Parliament. And the Prime Minister will also give a pep talk to 169 newly recruited IAS officers in the national capital today. Now, these officers have taken over as assistant secretaries in different central government departments for these 3 months beginning 1st of July this year. And the posting of these officers is part of a unique initiative started by the central government to groom the bureaucrats at the centre before they move out to their respective state cadres. All the officers of the Indian Administrative Service are allotted cadres which could either be state or group of states. Now, these 169 IAS officers will be on central deputation for 13 weeks from 1st of July to 27th of September, and they will report to their respective cadres after their completion of the training. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has pushed for the exchange of information among countries to curb economic frauds as well as efforts for the speedy extradition of economic offenders. Now, his remarks came against the backdrop of Indian authorities working to bring back various economic offenders who have fled the country. Now, speaking at the 70th Annual Day celebrations of Chartered Accountants Apex Body, ICAI, Naidu emphasized the need for the highest ethical standards and that chartered accountants should also help avoid recurrence of frauds. He also wondered how countries are allowing people to park their black money.
At the international level, all countries must speak with one voice in eliminating terror and economic frauds. Because if there is a peace, there will be progress. If there is a terror, if there is a tension, you cannot have attention and you cannot have development. So terror is an enemy of the human beings. And secondly, the economic frauds will also affect the economy and growth of the country. All nations must come forward to automatically exchange information on black money parked in various countries and also for speedy extradition of economic fugitives who commit fraud in one country and take shelter in another nation. As we seek to promote a more equitable and civilized world order, these measures are essential for healthy economies around the globe.
And in related news, the London High Court will hear fugitive businessman Vijay Mallya's plea against his extradition to India today. Vijay Mallya has been allocated a brief hearing to convince the London High Court judge that he should be given permission to proceed to a full-blown appeal process against his extradition to India to face alleged assault and money laundering charges amounting to 9,000 crore rupees. The 63-year-old has already lost a UK High Court leave to appeal on paper, leading to an oral hearing of his renewal application this week. And now a special segment on Budget 2019. Well, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar says that the think tank has prepared an output-outcome framework for 162 government schemes that account for 95% of the government expenditure. The government will present this along with the union budget. Now, in an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman also elaborated on the road ahead for several sectors like agriculture and others. Let's take a listen.
For all that we have done in the last few decades, cereal production is now growing at a higher rate than growth of consumption. So that there are two implications of that. One, that India is probably emerging as a surplus economy in some agricultural sectors, and two, that there is a very pressing need for agricultural diversification, away from only cereal and food grain production, to things like marine, fisheries, poultry, horticulture, floriculture, etc. But the first one, which is the surplus status, means that we now have to focus a lot on facilitating the marketing of agriculture. And there are some laws, for example, like the APMC Act, or the Essential Commodities Act, which need to be reviewed because they hold back our potential for exporting agricultural commodities.
And reiterating the need for a structural transformation of agricultural sector, Rajiv Kumar added that the focus should be on diversification of crops and marketing produce that will help in turn increase farmers' income.
We have missed out on many industrial revolutions. Even the semiconductor, the internet, we were lagging behind, we are catching up all the time. This is an emerging area where countries like China have already taken a lead, but nonetheless it's an area which is emerging all over the world. So this is one big opportunity for India to seize, that we can move to electric and connected mobility. And what we've thought is that the first step in this direction is that by 2023, there should be no more three-wheelers which are run on petrol or diesel or gas, and that by 2025 there should not be any new two-wheelers which are not electric charged.
The Niti Aayog Vice Chairman further described electric vehicle mobility as an emerging area that India needs to seize by setting deadlines.
DMEO is now preparing what is called an output-outcome framework for all the ministries. And I am very glad to say that this time the Ministry of Finance has agreed that this output-outcome framework will be presented along with the budget. So that henceforth, all the ministries, and we are doing it to begin with only for 162 main schemes, but which do account for 95% of government expenditure. And we are saying that all these schemes, we now need to know what your targets are, and now need to know also whether those targets are being achieved or not.
Well, you can watch this entire interview with the Niti Aayog Vice Chairman on Rajya Sabha TV tonight at 10 p.m. So don't forget to tune in. Top 5 judges of the Supreme Court will now hear public interest litigation matters. This after Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, notified a new roster of work. Now, it is the first time in 4 years that the Supreme Court has started work in its full sanctions strength of 31 judges from 1st of July after summer vacation. According to the fresh roster, the CJI will deal with the PIL matters, and it would be his discretion to assign PIL cases to the other top 4 judges, namely S.A. Bobde, N.V. Ramanna, Arun Mishra and R.F. Nariman. Earlier, fresh PIL matters were notified to be heard only by the CJI and the second senior most judge after the CJI. And now all the action from the ICC Cricket World Cup, while Team India today will take on Bangladesh at Edgbaston. Now, India is just a win away from emerging and in fact ensuring a spot in the semi-final from their 2 matches. But this is a do-or-die match for Bangladesh, who are 3 points behind 4th placed England on the points table. Indian all-rounder Vijay Shankar was ruled out of the ongoing World Cup due to a toe injury, and he will be replaced by batsman Mayank Agarwal. And in yesterday's match, Sri Lanka beat West Indies by 23 runs. Sri Lanka made 338 for the loss of 6 wickets after putting into bat first. And in response, West Indies managed 315 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. And after this win, Sri Lanka are now placed at the 6th spot on the points table, but out of the race of the semi-finals. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.